What's going on, game devs? Today I'm going to be showing you how to move a player in Unity through a simple script using transform.translate. We need a player to begin with, so let's grab a sprite here. Rename him player. Alright, now we have our player sprite, so we need our script to go on him, and we're going to add it here, and we're going to say player movement. And that's just the name of the script, and we're going to click new script, player movement, create and add. Okay, let it compile. Alright, it's compiled up now. We're going to open Visual Studio. Now there is just a couple things we have to do here. So we need to go and grab the axis from the input. So what I mean by that is if we go into project settings and go into input manager and axes, we have axis here, the horizontal axis and the vertical axis. And the name right here, however it's spelled, you can change these as you can see, but however it's spelled is what we need to see, because we need to grab both the horizontal and the vertical axis exactly as the way they're spelled. So that's where we're grabbing it from. Now let me show you what we're doing with it. I'm going to say float horizontal equals input dot get axis parentheses quotation marks, and this is where it's looking for, it's saying get axis, but which axis, so we have to tell it which, and the name horizontal, and then we need a semicolon at the end. You notice that I capitalized horizontal here, but I left this lowercase. This is just the name of our float. This is just the name of our float. That doesn't matter, you can name it anything. But when we're saying input.getAxis, it's asking us which access we're getting, and it's a string reference, so we have to spell it exactly as it is written in the settings, and it uses a capital H. So we're going to do this again for the vertical. Float vertical equals input dot get axis parentheses quotation marks capital V vertical. And when you're using string references, it's better to go to the actual reference and copy it and then paste it in here, just so you know it's perfect, because if you have an error, it's not going to show you the red squiggly lines under here. So if you just have like this, like a space in there, that's wrong. That's a character. It won't read that. It'll say this says vertical, but this is vertical with a space, so it's not the same thing. So we do it like that. Okay. Now we want to say vector 3 next position. It's just what I call it, because it's going to be the next place we're going to move when we put in input. So vector 3 is just X, Y, and Z. The horizontal, vertical, and the Z axis. So next position is going to be a new vector 3. You use parentheses, and then now we can say horizontal for the X. Nope, not horizontal wrap mode. Don't autocorrect me. Horizontal, then vertical, then 0. Put that right there. Now, horizontal and vertical are both of our floats. So for the x-axis, it's saying use this. And then 0 for Z, because Z is just the this is for 2D games, so we don't even need to worry about the Z because we'll never use it. Okay. Now, there is something extra that we need to do with here, but I'm going to leave it out for now just so you can see what would happen if you didn't have it. So after that, we say transform. So it's grabbing the transform component of the object, the game object, which is a player, that this script is attached to. And since we put the script on the player, it's grabbing the transform component from the player object. So we're saying transform dot translate next position. So when we use translate, it's looking for a vector 3. So in parentheses is where you would put the vector 3, but next position is a whole vector 3 right here. So we're putting this here. Okay, so if we save that and just run it just like that, hit play, you can see I can move around. I lost him. There he is. I can move around left to right, up, down, all over, but I'm so fast. So what we need to do here is create a variable to regulate the speed. So we'll use a serialized field, and then we will say private float underscore move speed, and we'll set it to 5f. It's usually a good roundabout number for move speeds. Now we put serialized field above this because it's a private, so it wouldn't show up in the inspector. But if you put serialized field above a private, it will show up in the inspector for you, and it will still be private to where other scripts from other objects can't change this. So we have this variable here, but what are we going to do with it now? How are we going to regulate the speed? We are going to take it at the end of our new vector 3, and we are going to multiply that vector 3 by move speed. Now we could stop there, but we're not done. Update runs every frame, and if you have a high-end computer, then like me, I'm getting like 2,000 frames per second. This is going to happen real fast. So instead of moving at 2,000 frames per second when we press a button, we want to move at our vector 3 times move speed, and then we want to regulate that by time, regular time. So we say times time dot delta time. So now, when we save this up, never forget to save your scripts, or you'll be scratching your head wondering why it's not working. Now, we can just move around just like this, and since we serialized our private float, here it is, move speed. So we can crank this move speed up to 10, and move double the speed, crank it up to 43, move crazy fast, take it down to 1, move slow. So yeah, you get the gist of it. And there you go. That is how to move a player using transform.translate. I hope you learned something. And if you're working with Unity and you're working with scripting, don't get discouraged. I started taking a few classes on Udemy, and after I finally had that eureka moment of like, oh, everything snapped together, you kind of see the full picture. Everything after that kind of comes easier in seeing how to create what you want to create and how to make certain things work, when before it looked like a foreign language. So I hope you learned something, and I hope you enjoyed. Thank you for all your support. Trick Ghoul out.